Hello and welcome to Matchday Live Extra on what has been a truly remarkable and unprecedented night for world football, as the proposed European Super League is lying in ruins following a series of events. Both Chelsea and Manchester City have officially requested to leave the European Super League as soon as possible, whilst Manchester United have confirmed that Executive Vice Chairman Ed Woodward will leave his role at the club at the end of 2021. Liverpool's players have spoken out in unison against their club's involvement as one of the 12 founding members of the European Super League, saying, "We don't like it. We don't want it to happen." They are the stark and hard-hitting words used to show their commitment to the club and its supporters. These stories around the Super League have developed so quickly, and there will be more fallout as the hours go on. There's a lot of conflicting speculation as the footballing world is trying to make sense of what has happened over the last 48 hours. So let's just start with the facts. Chelsea and Manchester City have officially withdrawn from the new league. Glenn Hoddle and Steve Sidwell have tried to make sense of all this news as it's been unfolding, along with myself over the last few hours. Are we surprised, after all of the backlash that's happened, Glenn, that both Man City and Chelsea have decided to withdraw?
I'm not surprised, no. I'm surprised at the quickness of it. I thought it's, 48 hours in, and they've come out and been very strong. And I think it's the right thing. I'm pleased to hear it. I'm delighted that what it's done, really, is it's united clubs. It's made them come closer together in many ways. And fans and players, it's coming from every angle. And I think the momentum of this will get even bigger overnight, I've got to say. So I'm happy that this is going to be squashed. It's a false start in many ways, and I'm pleased about it.
Well, one thing it has done is it's highlighted the greed of the top clubs in this country, unfortunately. And I know that's been growing for quite some time now, but that's highlighted it today, and in terms of purely for money, and there's not been one thought at all that's gone into this for the fans, and fans make football clubs. If one thing that's come out of this pandemic is that we've missed fans in the ground, the emotions that goes with it, and these clubs have not thought about that one bit, and it's become actually a bit of a comedy sketch in terms of the way it's sort of been panned out, and now the way that clubs are dropping out, which is the right thing, but there's just been no thought into it at all.
Well, when on Sunday this news was announced of a European Super League, there was instant backlash from all fans up and down the country and around the world as well. And that continued tonight at Stamford Bridge, with protests led by the Chelsea fans at the club this evening. And Miguel Delaney, the chief writer for The Independent, has been at Stamford Bridge to see everything unfold throughout the evening. Miguel, good to see you. Tell us, what was the mood like before kickoff as these protests took place prior to his?
So I was actually quite fortuitously placed and timed, because I was right beside the group of fans. I went to record my phone and record what I thought were scenes of really vociferous protest. But then after about 5 seconds of recording, it suddenly went very quiet. And I was kind of wondering, OK, what's going on here? And then there were cheers as if a goal had been scored, and as if a really important goal had been scored. And I was wondering what was happening as I filmed. So it was really fortunate to be filming this. Then, of course, I saw a WhatsApp came through. Chelsea are prepared to announce their withdrawal. And it was just scenes of utter celebration. And I suppose maybe some of the bad of football instantly became, a scene that displayed the bad of football instantly became one where it displayed all the good, which is the communal power of fans. Because let's make no mistake, Chelsea and Manchester City have very much listened to the responses of their supporters throughout all this. And in that sense, it's a victory for football and a victory for people.
Miguel, was there a sense then from the Chelsea fans who you were amongst that it was their power and their voices that had forced this through, that had forced the club to change their mind on this?
Well, yeah, I think there was just such a visceral feeling. And I think something that also emphasised that, as I was walking up, there was a guy in a Liverpool jersey, and Chelsea supporters going by him and kind of saying things like, "All right, Scouts, we're in this together," sort of thing. So yeah, I think that was very much the feeling. Now I have to say, given a lot of what had transpired today, it was still hugely surprising when it actually happened, because as late as 2 p.m, you had people from within the Super League absolutely insisting that everyone was fully on board. It was full steam ahead. But of course, as we know now, at that point, already, certainly within Chelsea and Manchester City, there was doubt and there was reconsideration.
Miguel, what do you think it says from someone who has written previously about this proposed European Super League? What does it say about their plans that they have been talking about this and planning this for years, that it has been able to crumble away within just 48 hours of backlash from it being officially announced? What does it actually say about the plans that they made in the first place?
Well, I suppose it illustrates the lack of substance to the plans, which I think a few people in the game had been, and even some of those involved, had been worried about. I mean, there was all sorts of talk that it was robust, that there'd been so many years of planning gone into this. But as we can see, the very fact that it's been able to crumble within 48 hours says as much as anything, and shows the lack of robustness to this. But that was always the thing. It was always a threat, kind of always held there on the horizon, this kind of vague idea. And when it came right down to it, despite the announcement on Sunday, that is probably one of the most significant moments in football history, certainly off the pitch, obviously. There wasn't all that much to it, and it remained a little more than a piece of leverage. I mean, I suppose it's not officially dead yet, given we've just seen only a few clubs pull out, but it's collapsing as we speak.
Miguel, obviously you was in with the fans there and you see firsthand their reaction. Is this now an element of forgive and forget, or is there still going to be a stigma that's going to be attached to Chelsea for a while, do you think?
Given they were the first to come back, I think there's maybe it'll be a bit double-sided, I'd say, because what was it? I mean, I posted the video I had on social media, and the response was amazing. Everyone said, I mean, let's be fair, among fans of other clubs, Chelsea haven't been exactly the most popular because of the money, because because of Roman Abramovich as owner, because of so many different strands. Fans find reason to dislike it, most of all because of their success over the years, maybe a sense that they have been so wealthy. But everyone was basically just saying fair play, and Chelsea have led the way, showed a bit of moral courage. It really just changed the parameters.
Miguel, what happens now? Should there be further punishment, even for the initial involvement of these clubs?
I think that's a very interesting question. And it was probably a tone set by the UEFA president, Alexander Ceferin, where it was, I think we've all seen his comments from Monday, where he was really critical of all those involved, using some of the strongest terms, even talking about snakes. Yet this morning, there was a conspicuous change of tone when he basically said the door isn't closed, offered an olive branch. And maybe that illustrates, there could be, there's such a sense of relief about this, that the game isn't going to be irrevocably changed, that they allow, maybe the punishments won't be seen as harsh. But on the other side, there are still plenty of people that have been so infuriated by what's gone on and so angered by the potential for change in the game and the needless strife, that you'd have to expect there will be some sanctions.
Miguel, thank you so much. Get yourself home safely from Stamford Bridge. We'll see you very soon here at the Premier League. Thanks for talking to us. Glenn, let's carry on that conversation, because Chelsea and Man City have requested to withdraw themselves from the European Super League, but they were initially involved along with 4 other Premier League clubs. Do you believe that there should be some kind of punishment for them? Because the other 14 clubs in the Premier League have not taken this lightly.
No, I don't think there should be a punishment. No, I think they've reacted in the right way, the correct way, very quickly and swift. I don't think you can take any punishment when the top brass in UEFA this afternoon or yesterday were saying there's time for change. There's time to change your mind. And Chelsea have been the leaders and City have been the leaders. So I don't think they can then turn round and say, well, you've changed your mind, you've done what we put out there, and suddenly now we're going to punish you. That would be wrong. So 2 wrongs don't make a right. It is about elitism. It's about an elite group of owners that are trying to make their own selfish needs and their clubs bigger and better financially. It's all about money. And it just shows you the power of the fans, the power of normal people that want to go and watch football. Have had a big influence on these clubs. They really have. I think the owners have misconstrued how powerful their fans are, and their players as well. I think if they haven't bothered really to ask their players they haven't gone to the root of all the club. It's just been about the top level. You can understand your Real Madrids and your Barcelona. They're in deep trouble financially. Italy can't get crowds in. So that is something that is a massive positive for them. But our clubs, no, that's not the same scenario and situations that we find ourselves in. And I'm pleased that these two big clubs have said no to it and pulled out. And I think the rest will follow. OK,
Man City and Chelsea have withdrawn from the European Super League. Will Liverpool follow suit next? Because we saw a lot of their players, including Jordan Henderson, the captain, putting out a statement saying we don't like it, we don't want it. We're also hearing that Tribus, who are their global timing partner for the club, have also withdrawn their sponsorship of the club.
Yeah.
So they've lost a sponsor tonight because of their involvement in the European Super League, which says it all.
And how ironic is that? Because this whole scenario was about creating money, and now they're in a position where I take it they're going to be losing money from a sponsorship. But all these are ingredients that they've got to be the next one or the next couple that's got to be pulling out. And I think it's a domino effect, isn't it? When one's done it and they've taken a stance, and these are all massive clubs, big clubs in world football, they all know now that it's not got legs, it's not got momentum, it's stopped in its tracks. It's only been a matter of time before the others pull out.